Good morning and welcome to the NuSpecian Live. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Aston. Good morning.
Thank you all so much for being here today. For those of you who are new to NuSpecies, I will reintroduce. NuSpecies is a natural health company. We make our own unique line of herbal supplements or herbal medicine. And we also have a unique integrative health consulting practice that we've developed over the last 18 years. NuSpecies turned 18 this July. All of our formulas have been designed to be powerful and effective and safe to help youth through some of the toughest of health challenges. But what a good health choice for you may not be a good health choice for someone else. And so that's why we host this Q&A every Saturday at 10 a.m. to help get you the answers to your questions that will help you continue along your own unique health journey. So we are prepared every Saturday to make the agenda whatever is on your mind. And our mission here at NuSpecies is to help you live better and longer. So we can only do that if you let us know what you're needing right now in your healthcare, in your medical care, in your nutrition, in your lifestyle. We can talk about any of those topics. If you're already using NuSpecies, feel free to ask questions about the regimen or protocol that you're on. And if you're someone who found out about the new pamphlet of information that we put out last week and you've read it, if you have any questions about that or comments about that or feedback, we would love to hear that today as well. So you can start chatting at any time. We're keeping an eye here. Good morning, Cleveland. Hi, Headley. So anyone who, even if you don't have questions, just say hi, go right ahead. Obviously, if you're driving, just listen in. And we have some pre-submitted questions this week, so we'll get into those right away. But feel free to ask your questions at any time. And as Aston always likes to remind, to please send the link to today's show to your friends and family.
Anywhere they are in the world, please do that. And, just for them to listen in. They don't have to ask any questions, especially if you have relatives and friends who have health issues like cancer or even past cancer. They have prostate issues. The ladies have issues with hormones, whether it's menstrual or dense breasts, or you may not even know if they have dense breasts, but you may know if they have fibroids or they're just sick. And a lot of family members, I have known for years that I'm not really finding out they have been sick. In my own family, they have been having issues and they say nothing. They hide it away from, even close family members, and even siblings do that. So that's one of the things that you all should be aware of. And if you see family members not looking well, not feeling well, something really bad could be going on, and you can help them head off disaster down the road by intervening into their lives to find out what they're doing, how they're doing, what's going on with them medically, why they're going to the doctor so often, why they're taking medication. You should dig. It's to me, when a family member is sick, it's not privacy. It should not be privacy, especially if it's a close family member. You need to know what's going on with them so you can help. You can't be an island. If you're going to be an island, you're going to starve to death, or you're going to get dehydrated to death if you're going to live alone. So it should be a community, it should be a village, and that's what NuSpecies. That's what we are. That's who we are.
And here's a great example of that from JV. We got a pre-submitted question. Hello, Mr. Aston. I'm hanging out with Headley. So thank you, Headley. We know you're always telling people about NuSpecies, and we do really, really appreciate that. Is how NuSpecies has succeeded all these years in continuing to help our clients is by having more people to help. And that's because all of you are always recommending your loved ones. So JV says, I'd like to learn more about how NuSpecies can help. So I'm diabetic and I'm currently taking insulin and tablets. My A1C was 11 last month and it's gone down to 10. Please let me know when is the best time for an appointment. So what does JV need to know?
Well, regarding the appointment, I hope we have your phone number. We can give you a call, hopefully today or Monday. So that's the first thing, your email and your phone number. And as for diabetes, it's a serious issue. Unfortunately, it is very serious. It killed my mother. And that's part of the reason why I'm sitting right here. My dad and my mom, my dad he died of prostate cancer that spread through his body rapidly over just a few years. And my mother, she suffered with diabetes, for a long time, before she died of a complication. So um, we focus our consultant practice on helping people with various issues, including diabetes. So if your A1C was 11 and it has gone down to 10, that's great. That's wonderful. Hopefully the insulin is working, and hopefully you're changing your diet and lifestyle. And diet doesn't mean starve. You should eat natural foods, the foods that God has made. That's what we all should be eating. The food from the ground, or the food that grows on the ground, not the foods made in labs. That's what we all should be eating. And then you should be exercising. You should try to get out there even 4 or 5 days a week and exercise. Exercise allow the body to absorb more oxygen from the air, and even from the foods you eat or the water you drink. It allows the cells to absorb more oxygen, and the more oxygen our bodies have, is the more likely our bodies can fix any issue, including diabetes and cancer. I say diabetes and cancer because I personally believe they're the two worst issues anyone can have, because they're not medically curable, like most other health issues, but these two I think are the worst. So change your diet, change your lifestyle. You're with my good friend Headley. I'm sure he's told you that already. And we have a diet guide that we can share with you, whether you buy NuSpecies or not. We can share it with you because your family, you're part of Headley's circle, so you're family. You're automatically family. All of you who have anyone around you who are loved ones, they're automatically, whether they ever speak with NuSpecies or not, they're family. So beside that, we can recommend what you need to fix the pancreas. Diabetes lives in the pancreas. So diabetes, people say it's a glucose, there's a sugar issue. It is, but it's not. If you want to fix diabetes, you have to go to the root cause. All those genes and cells that are in the pancreas that are malfunctioning, or that are turned off, or that are damaged, that's what we do. We can help you rebuild your body so your body can fix those root cause issues that cause the blood to fill up with sugar. That's what diabetes is. And the A1C is high. It's 10 because you had the glucose in your bloodstream for over a long period of time, maybe 2 to 3 months. So that's just proof that the body is not doing what it should do, even with the insulin.
Mhm. And JB, any time is good for an appointment, so you don't have to wait for anything. You can just call. Typically, our team will try to just conference in Aston to the phone call immediately, and so there you won't need an appointment. But if Aston's not available and you can't wait, and we have to set up a time, we will. But Aston's new strategy lately is to just try to talk to people immediately as soon as possible, so that there's no delay to them getting started with what they need or getting the answers that they need, especially if someone isn't a good fit with NuSpecies. We'd want them to know that as soon as possible and not waste any time. But usually that's not the case. I mean, most folks, as long as they understand what we provide and are on board with how we help people, then there's no reason why NuSpecies can't support their body in some way. But when it comes to diabetes, that's really, really common, and it's NuSpecies works with many, many diabetics. And as Aston said, our goal is to focus on the root cause of the issue. And as you focused on was your A1C, obviously your blood sugar is going to continue, maybe with the medication and insulin, maybe it'll stay stable, but blood sugar does naturally go up and down and can be very complicated to track. So your A1C is a good stable way to see how things are going. And it's really common. How often would you say clients typically see their A1C go down? Like how soon?
If you do a blood test monthly, and I know that that's not feasible for most people because of the restrictions by the doctors or the health insurance. If you do your blood work monthly, you will see changes in the A1C and glucose monthly. If you do exactly what we ask you to do, we're going to recommend NuSpecies, what you should take, and we're going to recommend that you make some dietary changes, lifestyle changes, like I mentioned before, and you could start seeing changes, significant changes in your body overall and your labs overall. So another thing you should be worried about, if your A1C is that high and if it's been that high for a long time, and if there's family history, you should also be extremely concerned about damage to your kidneys. That's what diabetes does. It damages the kidneys, damages the blood vessels, the heart, it damages the brain. It just causes a lot of damage in various organs. So try to get that A1C down to at least 6.0 or even below. 5.6 is where it's normal. 5.6, 5.7, that's where you really want to be. So you're almost double where you should be.
Okay. All right, JV. So we hope to talk to you soon. All right. This question's live from Cleveland. He wants to know if NuSpecies can do anything to help take care of pink eye. He uses the word cure. We don't use that word, but we understand what you mean.
So, what you can do, Cleveland, is you can speak with us as well. Pink eye is a virus. Gladly, it's not a bacteria, which is far more dreadful. So we can help you to build up your immune system, and and we may recommend our eye formula. I chuckled only because the eye formula. If you decide to get it, Cleveland, what we will recommend, you do not put the NuSpecies liquids in your eye. Don't put it in your eye. You drink it, and the liver process it, and then it gets into the bloodstream, and then it gets to the eye. So that's how we're going to help you to fix, the pink eye. And it would be good to know how long you've had this pink eye. Let us know if it's you or if it's a child. If it's you and you've had it for at least a week or two, that's probably way too long. So you should get in touch with us right away. It means that the virus rather, could be multiplying, and your immune system is too weak to control the virus. Okay.
I mean, Cleveland, if you want to follow up with any other details about that, please do. In the meantime, Andrea is also saying that she has pink eye since August 12th, and the prescription is not helping.
Right. So you two should get on our immune system rebuilder. Maybe you don't do a Nary, maybe they don't do the bigger option. Maybe they can do a smaller option, maybe a medium option along with the eye formula. So we need to get bloods. That's what the eye formula will help to do as well. It will get blood circulation to the eye. It will get what the eye needs to cleanse itself of inflammation, because that's what pink eye is. It's an infection. It's also inflammation. So you should get both the immune system rebuilder to get the immune system to destroy or control and destroy the viruses, and then the other formula to clean the eye of the inflammation and make any repair to any cells that are damaged in the eye. And if you've had it for a couple of weeks, then you try to be as aggressive with what we recommend. Maybe take it twice a day. Okay.
Yeah. All right. All right. So, hi, Richard. Good morning. Good morning, Diana. And I said hi to June. And now hi to Andrea. We were just talking with you. And hi, Michael. All right. We have another pre-submitted question, which we'll get to, and then if anyone else asks, we can get into that. So this is from Linford. He says, "Good day, Aston. I fell off the wagon for a moment. However, I still have a few things in my arsenal, and I would like to know how I should start back taking the following formulas." So he has on hand L-Nu1, the mineral complex, and the multivitamin.
Right. So since I won't discuss your personal health records publicly, we can talk privately. But you said something. We can talk today or Monday. But you said something that alerted me that I should be talking to all of you about falling off the wagon. Meaning that you stop taking NuSpecies, or you stop taking your regimen, or you stop taking your full regimen. We now have options to all the whatever NuSpecies you're taking, the package, regimen, protocol. We now have smaller options that can sustain you while you're falling off the wagon, so that you don't go cold turkey. And then, because when you fall off the wagon, you're not taking what you should take, the condition you have, whether it's diabetes, blood pressure, prostate issue, cancer, whatever you have, it will regenerate because the immune system was too weak in the first place to prevent it from happening, whatever the health issue is. So if you're falling off the wagon, if you have fallen off the wagon, it means that you're losing ground. All the time and money you spent, you're probably losing much of it, depending on how long you stay away from NuSpecies. So we now have small options that you can use to sustain you until you get back to your regimen or protocol or your package. Okay. So all of you should, if you're in that situation, you should call in and find out what those options are.
Mhm. And I will say that if you fall off the wagon and then you still have products that you have sitting in your arsenal, as you say, every product has a generic dose. So if you were just to read the label, you'll see that every formula that you have has either a tablespoon or a teaspoon or a dropper. You'll see the instructions on the bottle. You can always fall back on the generic dosing. That dosing is for a healthy person who's maintaining. It can also be used as a dose for when you don't have it in the budget to do higher doses and you need the bottles to last longer. All of those generic doses, I'm pretty sure, are based around a month's supply. So you can't go wrong by just following the instructions on the bottle because it's more harmful to wait weeks or a week to restart taking your formulas because you're waiting for us to answer that question than it would be to just take those doses. So ideally, you just want to keep the nutrition flowing through your bloodstream. So use the doses on the label when you are not sure. And then as soon as you can get to us about the exact dosing you need, then you can get your custom dosing restarted.
And I like the word you use to the arsenal. I like that
Mhm.
because when we do make a recommendation as to what you should take for any issue, all of you, we are always considering rebuilding your genes and rebuilding your DNA, rebuilding your immune system, rebuilding the damage done by the issue you have. So we are always removing inflammation, detoxing, cleansing, purifying the body. We're doing all of those things at the same time. So you're absolutely right. Each of those formulas we give you to take is a weapon, and it's a weapon it's both offensive and defensive. It's helping to fix, the body, and it's helping to defend against other attackers that could be in your body, whatever it is, whether it's virus, bacteria, cancer cells, inflammation, parasites, whatever they are. You are getting both offensive and defensive support from taking what we recommend. And that's why we just can't recommend one bottle, because different than when someone has a issue with, let's go back to diabetes, a lot of things are happening. The genes are damaged, right? The cells in which the genes live are damaged, and other cells are damaged. And then, worse, the immune system was not strong enough to prevent all of that, to fight off all of that. The body wasn't strong enough to fight off all of that. So when someone has diabetes, that's why it's so devastating. If it's not getting better, it's damaging the kidney. It's still damaging things, even if you're taking the medication. If it's not getting better, it's still damaging, other organs, and that's why other organs start to fall. And that goes for all health issues. They don't stay in one organ for long. They keep, jumping to other organs and causing damage.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen just because for those of you who are seeing that I'm talking about pre-submitted questions and you're wondering what we're talking about, I just want to quickly show you. This is like a web version of the app. So when you go onto NuSpecies app and you go to the homepage, if you just scroll down, you'll see here submit a question, and if you click on that, you'll be able to put your name, type your question for Aston, and then you can enter your email or phone number if you want the opportunity for us to quickly call you in case we have a question about your question. So that's where you can download NuSpecies app on the Google Play or Apple App Store. The other thing I want to tell you that's on the app, and we announced this last week, is this new pamphlet of information that we've created, which is like your end-to-end guide for your NuSpecies journey with rebuilding your health. So I put some text here, but then I have a download the PDF now link, and you can download it onto your phone. It's a very mobile friendly document, so you can put it in a text message or in a WhatsApp message to your family and friends. But you can also read through this comprehensive guide of what it's like to rebuild your health with NuSpecies. And if you are already on a NuSpecies program, you might say, well, then why do I need that? But there could be aspects of your journey that you're maybe taking for granted that you don't understand is actually part of the services that we provide. Or maybe there are things you think, okay, they just have to be this way, and you don't know that there's actually other options. So in the document, we take you through all the versions of your package, of your dosing, adjustments you can make on your own, things that you should expect. And if you're not noticing, you should be reaching out and calling. Resources are in there for support. So there's a lot of stuff in there that you might
Hmm.
want. Now, if if you've read that and you're like, this is great, and you're using it yourself, that can also be helpful for someone who's new to NuSpecies because maybe they can't fully visualize what it would be like to work with us, and so they can read through that and say, okay, this is an experience I can understand that I think would be valuable, and then they'd be more likely to reach out to get their custom recommendation.
Right. And, those are really great points. And I'd like to add a couple pennies. And that is a lot of clients have told me, a lot of you have told me that you have recommended your loved ones to new species and they do not call and they do not show up at the stores, right? One of the reasons why they don't is because when you refer a new species to them, they're thinking of another vitamin they took years ago that never helped them, right? They have a lot of questions in their mind, and they probably just never going to tell you. They're not going to call, or they're not going to come to new species. Now, this brochure that Jillian is talking about, if they read it, it's going to give them a roadmap, an end to end
Mhm.
of what we do and how we do it. And if that doesn't convince them to come to new species, probably nothing will,
Mm.
because we articulate a lot of details in this brochure, and that's why it's not a brochure or pamphlet, because it's pretty long, and it's long because we want to cover all the bases. So when you recommend someone, you share it with them, talk to them about it first, ask them to read it, and then if they have any questions, they can either come to you or come to us. And lastly, when you recommend someone, don't tell them to come to us to buy. Tell them to come to us to talk about the issues they have and if and how we can help them. So that's what I think you should do. And this is feedback from clients who refer friends and relatives who finally came in after months or years. They would say, "Oh yeah, my brother recommended me, my sister recommended me, my mother or father recommended me, but I didn't think you guys were that serious. I've been to other places to buy, products or vitamins and minerals, and they just didn't help me." So, you're fighting an industry for the last probably 50, 60 years of supplements that don't work, that don't help people, that are synthetic. And it's just hard to believe that there's a company such as ours that truly cover the bases to help people to rebuild their health so they can live better and longer. For a lot of people out there, it's incredible. So when you talk with your friends and family, spend the time with them and explain to them that we're different and show them the brochure. Give it to them and ask them to read it. Ask them to read it before they even call us.
I was just showing some examples of it on the screen while you were talking.
Great.
All right. Yeah, June says I skimmed through and it was very helpful. Great job. Thank you. Thank you. We
So
worked
it's
hard
for
on
all
that.
of you. It's for all of you. If you've been taking new species for 18 years, we've been incorporated 18 years, but we were around before that for quite a few years. So if you've been, doing new species for many, many years, you still should read it and see what in there can help you to be better. Because we do have a lot of information in there. We even have counseling in there with how you work with your doctors,
Mhm.
the medical system. Because I was just talking to Mary and Jillian this morning about, a client I spoke with yesterday. She was in tears as to how her doctor was dismissive. She has this chronic issue, and She said to the doctor she wants to get, a second opinion. And the doctor was very dismissive and rude to her and hung up the phone on her, I think. So we know a lot of you are facing tremendous challenges in the medical system, and we are here to guide you as much as we can. So don't face these issues alone.
Mm.
You are part of our family. You call us and ask us what we can do to help. What doctors we can, whatever we can do, whatever counseling we can give, just call us.
Yeah.
We don't have a list of doctors to recommend you to, but we do have medical practitioners who we work with, who we can ask to give you some guidance as to what you can do. And a lot of clients are utilizing, those practitioners. So don't suffer alone.
Mhm.
Call us, come in and speak with us, and let's see how we can help to get you out of the slump you're in with your doctors.
Yeah, and I'd say if you are trying to recommend others and they live near any of our stores, so in Bronxville, which is in Westchester, in Elmont, which is in Long Island, right on the border of Queens, and then we also have our HQ, which where we are right now, up in Pauling, New York, in Dutchess County, pretty close to the border of Putnam County, so not too far. It's kind of beneficial, I think, for them to come in and meet us or join the Q&A and meet us, but I think that that helps them get to know us as people, get the vibes of NuSpecies and what it's like to work with us, and really feel what the support will be like. And then there's really no cost or anything to lose to just have a conversation, even if it's just on the phone. But coming in person, I think, can also really help solidify that maybe that last bit of doubt before they decide to make the jump and work with us.
Right. Right. And we're not rule, control, supervise, manage, overseen, or whatever the word the word you want to use by any corporate entity. We are we, and we are we alone. We don't know where this country is going, but we hope to stay that way for as long as we can.
Yeah. Andrea just posted the MSM really helped my mom's joint pain. That's excellent. Thank
Good.
you
Good.
for telling us that. The MSM helps my sister-in-law, her father had a bad injury many years ago and he's been on disability ever since. And he is always just like, I can't live without my MSM. And every time we do a discount, I see him reordering. He's like, I have to have it. He feels much worse without it. And that's great because if you do have a chronic pain issue that is from an injury and something that may not be able to go away, to know that something can actually help relieve it is so such a relief.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and like you said, we plan on being here a long time, but can be scary if you're like, this product better not go anywhere.
Well, we don't plan to go anywhere, and and I want to say something about the MSM. If you start feeling any kind of joint issue, you should just start taking the MSM. Don't wait for it to get worse. Don't wait
Mm,
for X-ray and MRIs to see what's going on. If you start feeling pain in the joint, it means that one of those tissues in there are getting damaged: cartilage, ligaments, tendons, synovial fluid, the joint itself, the bones, themselves could be getting damaged or something interfering. If you feel something is wrong, not because the medical exam doesn't pick it up. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. So you
mm,
take action. Don't wait for it to get worse.
right.
Because when it get worse and it's now discovered by the medical exam, you may not able to fix that.
Yeah, and I've heard Mary, she's sitting over here, and my brother Lewis, when he worked for us, they would both independently say like, "Oh, I'm going on a hike, or I'm gonna go do some sort of sports activity," and they would take MSM preemptively to just try to deal with any inflammation that would come up from that exercise. So then after they had said that, I'm like, "Why am I not doing that?" So I started taking the MSM as well for those reasons. And our son, he golfs and plays soccer and lots of sports. And I always tell him, like, go take your MSM. You're going to go work some new muscles today. And it helps with the soreness.
Hmm.
What was that? I was just going to say something. Oh, yeah. Back to school.
Hmm.
So we're dealing with back to school. We have 3 kids, all in between elementary school and high school. And what a time of year this is with preparing. We're in New York, so we go back to school next week. I know we border Connecticut and they went back, I think, last week. But it's a pretty big time of year with spending money on school supplies and everything else. So we understand it's very chaotic. But I do want to say that part of your school supplies should be like at the very least, I would say what like the B vitamins are multivitamin.
I would say yes, but the new Genesis is at the top.
For immune
Um,
system.
yeah, because what I see with the kids are that they would, whether they go to camp or they go to school, wherever they go among other children, and they start having something coming on, right? They they would take the new Genesis, and the the results they get are almost instantaneous, literally. So the B vitamins definitely it helps to support the immune system. But if you can go a little higher with the B vitamins. How much is the B vitamins?
I'm
50
54,
dollars.
50, 54.
Okay,
I'm trying to find where I put New Genesis on the website.
$55. $55.
I'm like
And
live showing my ignorance about our site. I did put this here myself. So here's New Genesis. Where did I just find that, Mary? Oh, it was under the 20 to 50% off. Yeah.
so that's the new Genesis,
And you can get the
and
small bottle. So
yeah,
like they could get the 8 ounce
mhm.
and then that'll cost less. The discount you don't see the discount here. It's going to apply after you add this to the cart. So I just want to show everyone. See here now, the 8 ounce is down to 100. And if they take a teaspoon of this every day, it'll last a month or
Uh,
longer.
oh,
Or
6 weeks.
it'll last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right, right.
For one child.
Yes.
So if you have a couple children, then you split that in half. So, I mean the time, but they will not go wrong with taking the new Genesis, and
Right.
then
So this
of
will be for their
course,
immune system, trying to avoid all those colds and flus that are going to hit very soon after they go back to school.
right.
Right. But then, like, let's say they need something that costs less, that lasts longer, and the kids are more likely to take because of the taste.
Hmm.
Then you would go to, I'm just going over here to liquid vitamins.
Hmm.
And here is the multivitamin B complex with vitamin C. And this has like a very citrusy kind of flavor. This is what it looks like. And that's actually not that's a way more than what they would take. This dose is just for example, but like the actual dose is way down here at such a teaspoon. And
Right.
that'll last 3 months for
For
one person.
yeah, for one person, 3 months, and then the it's $55. Just run it off,
Mhm.
$55. And the small new Genesis, the 8 ounce, is $100. So you can decide if you want to do one or do both. It's up to you. But at least what I have seen, well, last week I was getting itch in my throat. Nothing bad, but it was coming. And I had not taken the new Genesis in weeks, which is quite bad. And I took it maybe 2 or 3 times, and I literally, consciously, deliberately, should I keep going on with the adjectives and adverbs? Watch to see what was going to happen with my throat. And yes, it went away completely. It went away completely after just a day or two. So, and it happened before, but this time I was more conscious of it. That I had not taken the new Genesis for a number of weeks, and now I was getting this itching, so it went away, and it it does for the kids as well. They come in with sniffles and or cough or whatever, and they get better within a day or two. So I would suggest it for adults and children
Mhm.
alike, and yes, when the kids come home with their crap, excuse my Mandarin, you know that you're going to get it too.
Yeah, and I get it. We just finished buying school supplies for 3 kids, back to school, some clothes, shoes after they destroyed them in camp all summer, and you need to buy new shoes to go back to school. Yeah, you can easily spend like $1,000. It's not hard. But I really recommend don't skimp on the nutrition because it's going to cost a lot more when they're sick and you're taking them to doctors and you're going to have copays and you're missing work and you need to buy over the counter drugs for fevers and who knows what else. And they're missing school. So
And
it ends
they
up really adding up if
and
they
they
actually
don't
do get
sleep
really
at
sick.
night, and they wake you up with their coughing and their whatever.
Oh my God, coughing. That
Yeah.
is, I hate
So
hearing my kids cough while
I
I'm trying
think
to sleep.
we have beaten you over the head enough. I
So
think you get the
invest
point.
in
Whether
invest in
you're
it.
grandmother, grandfather, father, mother, brother, sister, you get the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't have children and you have a little extra disposable income and you could maybe treat your siblings or family members who do
Nieces and
have children,
nephews.
yeah, who need it,
Yeah.
please do that for them. Our my nephew was actually, well, our nephew was just over. He slept over 2 nights in a row this week, and I was like, "Listen, while you're here, you got to take NuSpecies. That's how it goes." And he was a little nervous because he hadn't tasted the Al Nu before, and he drank it and was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." He was prepared for something bad. He took a big sniff. Like, I would recommend not letting them sniff before they actually drink it. He's like, "It tastes familiar as a garlic," and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, garlic." So, um, yeah, it was no big deal. The vegetable glycerin really helps with the herbal taste. It gives that little sweetness that kids prefer.
And don't forget, it's
Yeah.
medicine.
Mhm.
Medicine is not supposed to be sweet and dandy.
Yeah, and Mary's girls are always Mary's always sending me
Oh,
videos of her
her kids
girls.
are different.
Yep.
They're a whole species all by themselves.
Yeah, from little
Yeah.
babies asking for their species.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't assume your kids won't take it because especially the younger you introduce it, the less judgmental they'll be, and they'll kind of build their taste buds around it, and they will like it. And believe me, when your kids are healthy, that is such a freedom and a peace of mind, and it helps you focus on the things you want to focus on when
Yep.
it comes to raising a
Priceless.
family. Yeah, so it's
Absolutely
really worth the
priceless.
investment. So highly recommend. Mary put the links here in the chat to New Genesis and the B vitamins. And again, with the New Genesis, the discount will show up until you add it to your cart, so don't be scared away. All right, we're looking to wrap up the show. It's 10:40, so if anyone has any other questions they want to get in last minute. I know we had some questions at the end of the show last week. I'm not sure if those folks ended up just speaking to you in the meantime.
Um, we can
Andrea
we can at least
and
briefly address them.
I think I took screenshots of them.
There's Andrea on this. It's the
Yeah,
same
it's the same
Andrea.
Andrea. You're on, Andrea. Did we answer your questions since last week or do you want to go for it?
I think we had one about prostate or something.
I knew.
No.
Okay, here I found one. Was what would you recommend for low white blood count? I think you very quickly. Oh, Andrea asked a big question about trying to heal from a stroke for someone who wants to walk better faster.
Is that current or
That
before?
was last week. I don't know.
Okay, so
Okay, Andrea consulted. Okay, so she got the answers. Okay, great. Great. All right, so we got you, Andrea. You're good. I don't know if we answered Sharon's question though about what would you recommend for the low white blood count.
right. So and this is for everybody. There are people around the world who typically have low WBC, and you all should pull up your labs right now, the metabolic panel of the lab or the chemistry panel, depending on the lab organization. They have different naming conventions. But if your WBC is low and if it has been low, you have a big problem because a lot of the people who have come to us over the years, 20 years and more with low WBC, for them it was chronic. For them, it relate back to their ancestry, and it's a serious problem because a lot of these people eventually develop cancer because the body was not strong enough to fight off whatever, viruses, bacteria, and those can cause cancer. Those can lead to cancer.
Mhm.
A lot of people who have low WBC, they end up with autoimmune disease, which is an immune system problem. So the immune system was so weak, those viral particles that are associated with the autoimmune diseases just dominated the body.
Mhm.
So it's a serious problem. So any of you who have low WBC, it's funny. It is so funny. I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was in my 20s, I used to get some really, really bad colds twice a year.
I don't think you ever told me
October
that.
and I think April, May. Really bad. So bad I couldn't work. I
Mm.
couldn't go to school. And this been happening since I was in my teens.
Mhm.
And I went to a doctor
Even when you lived in Jamaica?
even when I was there,
Mm.
yes. And when I came here, and I went to a doctor back when I was in my 20s, and he said that I have what black people have. I have low white blood cells, and it's an African thing, and you're gonna have it for
Hmm,
life.
that's interesting.
Yes. So a lot of people are being told that even now. A lot of people have been told that here in the United States, if they're from, if they're of African ancestry, if they're from the Caribbean, a lot of clients are telling me they're getting the same thing from their doctors. So if any of you are getting that, it could be partly true, but this is what happened. I had my low WBC until I invented LNU1, and I started taking it for probably about a year or two. It takes a while to rebuild the immune system, especially when the WBC is low. And mine was down in the twos, very low. And I associate that later with the bad colds that I used to get that would keep me up at night, and I would get fever. My fever would be so bad, I could not work for 2, 3 days. I have to stay home. That's how bad it was. And when I cough, my whole body vibrated. I don't know if any of you ever gone through that. So I have so many
Yes.
testimonials for
Hmm.
new species. For new species.
We should do an episode of just our testimonials.
We should, because that's a powerful one. And it was only after I started taking the LNU1 that I don't get these bad colds. I don't get colds anymore, but I don't get those bad colds for years now, maybe 20 years. And I really should give thanks to that, because when I used to fear October, and I used to fear the period of time around April, May. I assumed that October is when it's getting colder and my immune system would get worse. It would get depressed. That's what I'm assuming, because of the cold climate. And then around April, May, the weather is changing.
Hmm.
So my body was going through another shock, and we all go through that. All humans go through this whole hot and cold in the environment. It affects our bodies, affects our immune system. So that's my association. So those of you who have low WBC, we have an immune system protocol, and we also have options to it that you can take. So,
Well, just so quickly for the question though is like when the doctor says if you're black and you're going to have this low white blood cell thing that for the rest of your life, is that true or there's something they can actually you could do about it?
of course, the people who come to us, we have been able to help them to get their WBC up,
Right.
or to get it better. And it's nonsense about Black people stuff or African people stuff, because a lot of white folks, a lot of people of Asian ancestry, people from South America, Central America, who are our clients, they have the same issues. So it's just not true. But maybe we people of African ancestry, we do have tend to have more of certain issues, and I think primarily it's the medical system that doesn't do what it should do to help us. I think that's a big part of it.
So it's not similar to like the vitamin D thing,
So vitamin D, there are many people in the Caribbean who have low vitamin D, and there's no winter in the Caribbean.
right? But are they
So
living like lives that are mostly indoors because they're working in offices and not really
probably,
spending much time in the sun?
probably, but the vitamin D issue exists everywhere on the planet. You know, you and that's why we have our vitamin D. It's a fish oil. It's a cod liver oil, and it's completely natural. It has vitamin A with the vitamin D. So those of you who have vitamin D issues, it's not a Black people issue. Yes, people who are of African ancestry, we have darker skin or brown skin, and white skin absorb the sunlight faster. We I would say to my clients, we don't belong here. We belong, we're genetically from, because we have dark skin because or brown skin because the sunlight is so hot in Africa or that part of the world in the south. The body generate these melanin to block the ultraviolet rays in the sun to prevent skin cancer. That's the only scientific biological reason I've seen why people have black or brown skin. So when you get into the northern hemisphere, whether you're in Jamaica or the Caribbean, wherever you are, you're in the northern hemisphere, Central America, North America, you are in the northern hemisphere. So of course there are going to be vitamin D issues that will lead to a lot of the hormonal issues we get, whether it's prostate for women, it's fibroids, menstrual issues, dense breast cancer. All of those can be related back to vitamin D. Vitamin D is actually a hormone; it's not a vitamin. Just so you all know.
Mhm. So,
And sorry, I went off on my soapbox about this one
it's okay.
issue, WBC.
I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
share my recent test results because this was for my last physical, and just so it would be here in the CBC. So CBC is complete blood count, right? And then there's all of these different types of cells, but like right down here at the bottom is WBC. So that's your white blood cell. So this is what Aston's talking about and what the client Sharon was asking. Like if it were low, it'd be like down here.
Right,
Every
right.
lab has different ranges.
So what are
So
you, 6.6 plus?
6.9.
So you're almost in the middle. That's perfect.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I was looking
awesome.
pretty good. This was a great
Yeah,
lab.
yeah.
I've actually always had good labs, so hopefully, right? I better. But this is what you'd be looking for, CBC, and these are all different different cells, right? Like immune
Yeah,
system cells.
yeah,
Yeah. So, and they all will mean different things. And
yeah.
just because, so when you're looking at this, your doctor could just see that everything is in within range, and then this is when our clients complain that my doctor says, okay, everything's fine. But what doctors are really looking for here is that there's no sign of disease that they need to treat. But just because you're seeing that everything looks normal, it doesn't mean that you're actually in optimal health. And so when Aston looks at your labs, he may look at this and say, well, if you look at this plus that, that's a sign that maybe something isn't going right,
Hmm.
and he can tell you that story. So it's really important to get your test results, and this is where we tell clients, like, if you're really not that excited about seeing doctors or being within medical care, it's still really good because you want information about what's going on with your body. Even if you don't plan on listening to the doctor, which we don't recommend, or you don't want to take medications and all that kind of stuff, you still want the information about your health. And having these labs gives you a baseline. Even
Hmm.
if you think you're healthy or you're healthy, you should still have the labs prove that to you. Because if anything unexpected ever does happen, you've established a baseline where any practitioner you now go see can be like, what was the last time things looked good? And what has changed since then? So it's really important to get this information. If you have access to medical care, a doctor, or even if you want to pay out of pocket, Mary and Aston have been guiding clients to where you can just go to a lab and just go to their website and pay out of pocket to get some of these blood tests. So you don't even need to go to a doctor to get a lot of these basic tests just to see what's going on in your body. And then you could start with NuSpecies if that's where you're more comfortable, and then Aston can guide you and say, listen, this is really something you need to talk to a doctor about, or this is a basic imbalance that with some nutrition your body can resolve. So it's really good to have the information, and we highly recommend that you don't shy away from getting labs done at the very least, and especially getting your yearly physical.
Right. So the WBC is actually in the CVCs, correct? Yeah.
Mhm. What?
Not the metabolic column.
Oh, okay. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. Well,
Yeah.
we've made that example, so hopefully everybody is clear.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's 10:50. So this is usually when we start wrapping up. Trevor, good morning. You're joining us late. If you have anything to add, let us know. We're going to start wrapping up the show right now. I want to say, for those of you who are here with us and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please do so. We need our subscribers, and you can also hit that little notification bell so that whenever we're live or we put new content up on our channel, you will get notified. You can also download NuSpecies app. So that's a place where we often put like minute to minute changes to our business hours. We put in all the new content or new product announcements there. We remind you when stores will be closed, when there's discounts and promotions. And so the app is just a good place to be, especially if you don't like to be on a text list, which we also do. You can be on our app and just get notifications on your phone. But you do have to enable or allow those notifications. Obviously, otherwise your phone will block them. So join our app. One of the other things I want to let you know is I want to start switching up when we send our weekly newsletter, because I've been sending it on, I don't want to send too many emails per week. So there's always content we want to share, but then we also want to remind you about the Q&A. So I've been sending our email newsletter every Saturday morning, and just cutting two carrots with the same knife. But I feel like some of the content we want to share is getting lost in just trying to remind you about the Q&A. So if you can, in our email newsletter, you can sign up for I put a link where you can just sign up directly for a list that will remind you about the Q&A only, which would be a separate email from our weekly newsletter. Also, if you just don't want to get the extra email, just download our app and you'll get the notification every Saturday morning letting you know when we're going live, or YouTube can notify you as well if you just let YouTube notify you. That way I can preserve our weekly email more for like educational content and announcements than like forcing it to be every Saturday morning to remind you about the Q&A. Diana, you are welcome, my dear. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us.
Yep.
And we learning from you because all your questions are constantly helping us know like what's going on out there. What do people need from the medical industry? What do they need from us? And how can we be helpful? So we do appreciate having you here.
Absolutely. And you all have a great and safe weekend. And we'll talk to you again next Saturday, I think.